Hello and welcome to this second converter update video for the In My Image campaign. While the map hasn't changed much since last time I made an update, I have been poking around with some of the core gameplay mechanics in the game, because I noticed that when I ran the game on regular overnights, they usually got stuck at the first age, the age of exploration, because there was no Protestant Reformation. And the Protestant Reformation is needed for the second age to trigger in EU4, something which was a problem for me. So, without further ado, I would like to show you the new ages that I have made. Wherever the ages actually fit, I didn't change anything, but in many places they just focus too much on religion, and while people were asking me to add some sort of religious schism into the game, I couldn't do it properly. I wanted to make some sort of Protestant Reformation style thing. The main issue I ran into was that, as you can see, let me turn off the fog of war, the Tengrilig Odd Faith here it's fairly spread out across the entire world. It's even in China. I mean, from Ireland to Cathay. And centers of Reformation are hard-coded to only work on one continent. And I didn't want to meddle with a continent setup too much. So I decided upon not having a religious conflict at all. And I decided to go all in for not having a religious conflict. Yes, the first two ages in regular EU4 has religious conflict enabled. None of the ages in my mod has religious conflict enabled. Though there will be a lot of conflict regardless. So let me show you the ages that I have made. First and foremost, we have the Age of Stars. And all of the nation-specific ideas, the grace abilities you could buy, I've switched out for other ones. I've made custom flavor text and replaced the images, as you can see, mostly by taking images from CK2. So whenever it made sense to still have one of these, I kept it in, like Discover America or Control Centers of Trade. Though I did replace them wherever it made sense. I've also renamed some of the institutions. You can see here that the Renaissance is called the Rediscovery and focuses on old knowledge being rediscovered from the ruins of the fallen old world. So I don't remember the original abilities that were here, but as you can see, I focused them on culture groups. So depending on which age it is, certain culture groups will have a massive boost. In the first stage, we have the Forest Mongols with the Forest Mongol recruitment. There is Ocean Mongol Wanderlust, Desert Mongol expansion, and Gan Mongol diplomacy. This one is specific. I pretty much just randomized these, so I'm not sure when the different culture groups get their various boosts, but these are the Desert Mongols, for example. They are in quite a precarious situation, so they need all the help they can get, while the Forest Mongols and the Truth-like Mongols are way more powerful, so they get their stuff later. So for the Age of Stars, I don't think I replaced any of these, as far as I can remember. But for the other ages, I did. So let's go with Age 1, which ironically is Age number 2. This one is the one where I changed the most. This is usually the Age of Reformation, and the Age of Reformation, just nothing fit. Absolutely nothing fit. So, I haven't replaced the pictures here, but all of the abilities do not none of the abilities focus on religion anymore. Well, some of them do. One of the goals, for example, is broaden the gaps, which is, as a Muslim or Norse nation, fully embrace the religious idea group. So this is going towards the idea of one religion being superior, something that isn't really a thing until the Age of Discord, but even then it doesn't focus on it. As you can see, if you're a Muslim or a Norse and you complete the religious ideas, you get this fulfilled. On the flip side, there's quite a few objectives for the Tengris and the Tengerlegs, which is syncretism, which gives you power if you either harmonize a religion group or you simply are Tengri. So it's kind of two camps here, but usually the religious conflicts do not last that long. Anyway, we have broadening the gaps, we have Powerful Khan, you can see all the descriptions here. Powerful Khan is a new one I made. Colonial Empire is an old one. The People's Will focuses on buffing the Republic's theocracies that are still left when this age is starting, which is quite a few of them. They usually disappear, as you can see. We have some here. You know, a few here and there, really. And then Strong Dynasty. Have at least 2 nations, including subjects, be of your dynasty. As Bayadia, we have a massive boost to this, because we have a million nations of our dynasties in CK2. Well, that's intended. For the abilities, we have Diplomatic Annexation Cost. This is old. We have Manpower Recovery Speed. That's old. This is old. This is just tolerance of heretics and heathens. Lots of tolerance in the Age of Discord, ironically. Province War Score Cost. Then we have the Steppe Mongols getting a massive war exhaustion boost. Eastern Mongols getting trade efficiency. And the Crescent Mongols getting toughness, shock damage received. And the Mengu Timurs get the Valkyries. I really like Mengu Timuri, as you can see. But they don't always last, even though I give them quite powerful ideas. It all depends on what random custom ideas they get. Here they didn't get very good ones, for example. Let's take a look at the next age. The next age is the Age of Absolutism. I didn't actually change much here, because Absolutism is just it's perfect. All of these are the same. On the other hand, these have been replaced. So we have Ocean Mongol Gunsmiths. We have Truth-like Mongol Integrity. So this is what we get. Eventually in Age 3 we get Corruption. Desert Mongol Unity. Forest Mongol Investments. And here I've only replaced a few of them. For example, Impressive Industry is new. Control 1 of each manufactory. And Divided Development. Own at least 10 provinces with 25 development each. Quite hard to reach. And then finally, the Age of Revolutions has been replaced with the Age of Resurgence. And here we have the same goals, because they are incredibly hard as they are. And all of these are the same, except that I renamed Napoleonic Warfare to Cthulan Warfare, because, you know, no Napoleon in this timeline. And at the very end age here, we have the Crescent Mongols, once again getting something to help them. Eastern Mongol Shipbuilding. We have Shar Mongol States. And Ocean Mongol Diplomacy. Pretty much just repurposed the ones that already existed, because I wanted them to be incredibly powerful. So, that's it for the ages. Let's go back to Age 0 just because. Age of Stars, an interesting age, where we travel by horse and by boat to find new lands. I've made 2 sets of custom ideas. One is for Bayadia, for us, based on what we did in CK2. They are quite interesting, I will show them off. The other ones are for the Europeans, because they are a fan favorite. People love the Europeans. For the Bayads, I wanted them to be powerful, but seeing as the random custom ideas are usually incredibly powerful, these are not as strong as they might seem. So let me show them off. The traditions give us 20% cavalry compatibility, the Horde Legacy. Shock damage received minus 10% because we are hardy warriors. And then we have the World Conqueror's idea. The Bayad dynasty was the one to finally unite the entire world under one ruler. It took hundreds of years and millions of lives to accomplish, and for as long as there are humans alive, it will never be forgotten. In my image, an homage to the campaign name, the Khans of old tore down the arrogant towers of the feudal world and replaced them with constructions of their own. Their ideals live on yet. We shall shape this world in our image. As you can see, the bonuses are quite powerful, but they are nothing compared to what some random nations will roll. And that's intended because I want a challenge. I want a massive challenge. I want to build a massive empire, but I also want to see the AI doing the same. A lifetime of war. Mongol soldiers learn to fight as soon as they can walk, and how to ride even sooner than that. In battle, they are forged into soldiers as hard as the iron in the swords. War is not, and never will be, unknown to the Mongol soldier. And here we get our morale and manpower modifier. Divided faith. The attempts to centralize the Tengrileg Odd faith were resounding failures. As you might know, when we played CK2, we tried to give land to the Tengri head of religion, and everyone just kept taking it from them. While we will never adhere to religious authority, we will tolerate those who do. As you might know, the Tengrileg Odd faith actually uses the harmonization from Taoism. That's the special mechanic I settled upon, which means that it's quite a tolerant one, in that you assimilate a religion and then you don't get penalties for it anymore. Very fitting to this syncretic religion. And yearly tribute. Mongols from across the world still revere the Bayard family as sacred and travel great distances in order to pay tribute to the ruling Khan. Here we get our money and advisor cost. Legacy of lunacy. The Bayard dynasty has been known to be unstable, to say the least. The history books have recorded multiple instances of cannibalism, devil worship, and other unspeakable things. Over the centuries of Bayard rule, the populace has become complacent to the insanity of the Bayards. In fact, they have come to expect it. We get some unrest and legitimacy. And then finally, this is the only one not based on the CK2. This is a presumption I make upon EU4. So unite the Bayard Khanates. Many territories of formerly Bayard lands have come under the occupation of pretenders and must be reclaimed for the family. The time has come to unite the Bayard Khanates under one ruler. And here we get aggressive expansion impact and 5 more states. Unsure how useful that will be. And when we finish everything, we get 25% land force limit modifier and 20% land maintenance. So that's when the fun really begins. For the Europeans, they get a very powerful idea set. Let's see here. Debug mode. So for Bejoburg here, which is the most powerful European nation here, according to my observer games. As you can see, they have a bunch of ideas. They start up with attrition for enemies and fort defense. And then they have reclaim and retake. In order to survive, we must reclaim lands the Mongols devastated. And they get a colonist from this. We will never die. The Mongols did their best to kill us all, but here we still are. Try as they might, they will never break our spirit. Morale of armies and war exhaustion. Really good stuff. Rival the hordes. To fight the hordes, we must learn from them. This time, we are the ones living a harsh life where we must fight for survival every day. This molds us into warriors as great as the Mongols were in ages past. So this is a jab at the Mongols becoming settled and weak. And get the land force limit modifier and maintenance. A heart of gold. Who knew that the Heart of Darkness contained a Heart of Gold? They actually start with some gold provinces. Renewed spirit. We are discontent simply reclaiming devastated lands. We must retake what was once ours. Core creation cost and unjustified demands. Repopulation initiative. We have grown strong and reclaimed much land. It is time for us to go forth and multiply until the earth is ours once more. Repayment in kind. The Mongols slaughtered us in the millions. It is time to return the favor. So, while the Europeans almost never, in one of my observer games, they actually succeeded in reclaiming Africa. But they will most likely not actually succeed. They will probably be gobbled up by the nearby Mongol states. But if anyone plays this mod later on and really want to restore Europe to a European culture, then this is the idea you want. this idea set is pretty good, I have to say. So those are the two idea sets that I did. And now I want to go through some of the minor changes I did. First and foremost, for the institutions, let's go back to Bayadia. For the institutions, I have renamed a few of them. For example, feudalism is named sedentism, the Renaissance is named the rediscovery, and otherwise they're all the same. That's just a minor little tidbit. I've also updated the graphics with some... because there were feudal shields here before, and that didn't really fit the spirit. So I replaced it with some banners I found on the mod workshop. And modified the layers a bit so that you can see who's a great power. That little star there in the corner means that we are a great power. And these are the ones that start as great powers. As you can see here, there's a little star here as well. Easy enough to discern. In order to reinforce the nations that managed to preserve their dynasty through the entirety of the Mongol revolts, I gave certain nations special government forms. So, the Ottomans in Vanilla have a government form where the dynasty is preserved. And this I have given to all of the nations with original dynasties ruling original kingdoms. So Bayadia, we obviously have it. We have the harem government. It's exactly the same as the Ottoman government, it's really good, we get the events from it. And on top of that, I've added the tributary mechanic to the harem government. So if you're the harem government, or if you are an empire of, you know, government rank 3, then you get the tributary mechanics, just like if you were Ming, which is really interesting, because even though all the nations blob a lot in this game, the tributaries means that in Victoria 2 there are some smaller nations left, something that usually do not happen, because they keep them around as tributaries, and if they attack them, then the major nations intervene. So, who are harem governments? Bayadia is. Temujin Rothas is. Targana is one. Mengetimuria, obviously. Korchia, with the dynasty Bugente. And the Valatenhord, or formerly known as the Pyresviden, or Falsniord. Megaginia, obviously. Ganzorigs. And not this one, actually. Agucheverle is the one, along with Targuthaya. They are the, well, the originals. Oh, I almost forgot about Shiguvidin, the split nation. As you might remember, Shiguvidin is in 3 different places, being all split up. On top of the harem government, I repurposed the Prussian monarchy. And this I did mostly to give myself a bigger challenge. So in the areas where there are not much competition, and where I could technically sweep in and just take stuff, I've put a militarized monarchy, which is the new name for it. So Guglug here, for example. I thought they had done so well for themselves. This is their vassal, by the way, Sutia, so they are quite big. They start with the militarized monarchy. So they have, well, they have bonuses. Unless they get stopped right away and crushed, they can end up owning most of Asia, East Asia that is, and that will stop me from going east too easily. The other one is Audagast Niord. It's a nation that did really well in CK2, but unfortunately did not have an original dynasty. But they are so powerful, so I made them a military monarchy, and they will usually sweep up the rest of Africa and become an African superpower. Which is amazing. A little flavor thing that I did was renaming the government. So as you can see, we are a Khanate. Most of them are Khanates, but there are also some... let's see if we can find any. Yeah, the lowest, the duchy rank is called a Horde. And the empire rank is called a Khaganate, which no one is as of yet. Because Kingdom was the highest level you could reach in CK2. Another little flavor thing that I got from one of my viewers named Tonio is localized names not nation names, but actually ruler names for most of this area of the map. As you can see, this area that I have marked. So they have localized ruler names, so instead of being named... let's see if I can find anyone I remember. Yeah, for example, Cthulhu, a very popular name down here. Over here in Western Europe, it's actually called Feudal. So Cthulhu has morphed into this name here. And that's something I really appreciate, because name variation was not a strong suit of the Mongols. I've renamed lots of nations since last episode as well. You might see a few new names around, and that's mainly to strengthen the sense of disunity, and also make it easier to distinguish between all the different nations. So thank you, Tonio. So, people were complaining, well, not complaining really, but this is more a general observation that people who like mega campaigns often do, and that's that the Americas are quite boring, and if the Americas are interesting, it's always North America. So, I did something that I hope will spice it up a little bit. As soon as a colonial nation goes independent, they will get permanent claims on their entire continent that they are on, if they are in North or South America. Unfortunately, South Africa does not get this treatment. So in some of the Observer games that I've played, I've seen nations just gobble up all of South America, and I'm just telling you that in Victoria and Hoi, such a nation would not be insignificant whatsoever. So I'm hoping that will cause America to become very interesting. And perhaps get some manifested destiny from the nations here. And here, for that matter. That's pretty much it for now. I'm ready to start this campaign. So expect very soon episodes to start rolling in. I would say at most 1 week. And perhaps even earlier than that. It all depends on when I have time to play. So thank you for watching, and tune in for more In My Image soon.